Alright, looking at writing the equations of polynomial functions, we've actually done this before, but just with quadratics. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. This is a cubic, okay, which tells me it's going to make this kind of shape-ish. It has a double root at -4, so here's -1, 2, 3, 4. It does say to sketch it, and another root at 0. Okay, so remember, double root means it bounces. It must be a, you actually can't tell right now if it's a positive or a negative. So to do that, we're going to have to first find our equation. So I know that y equals a, so this is kind of like root form when we had quadratics, a times, that's going to be an x plus 4 squared, since it's doubled. And then the one at 0 is really just going to be an x. So if you'd like to put the x in front, you can if you want to. Okay, now this says it does go through the point 2 and -36. Okay, so maybe using that you could figure out if this was a positive or a negative graph. Okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and find the a value to do that. So when they give you this point, again, they've given you an x and a y, you plug it in to figure out a. So that's going to be -36 equals a times 2 plus 4 squared times 2. Okay, well 2 plus 4 is obviously 6, 6 squared is 36, 36 times 2, maybe I shouldn't have skipped so many steps there. Here we go, -36 equals a times 6 squared times 2. 6 squared is 36 times 2 is 72. (72a). Again, to figure out a, you're going to divide by the 72. That's going to be a equals -1/2. Okay, so if a is negative, then you know it needed to start up here, bounced, crossed, and that would make sense for it hitting that point I kind of sketched on there. And what is your equation? It does say in polynomial form, but we're actually going to leave them all in factored form. It's just this very first equation we had. I'm actually going to throw this x here in front, and then x plus 4 squared. Okay. Let's look at another one. Okay, I know it passes through this point and they've given me the graph. So looking at this, I know it's an x cubed and I know it's a negative x cubed. I use the graph to find my roots, my solutions. So it looks like I have one here, and one here. That one's easy. That's at 1. This is at -1, 2, 3, and -4. Okay. So that tells me y equals a times x plus 4 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. Okay, remember when you put them in, you change the sign. Again, they've given you an x and a y to plug in and solve for the a. So x is going to be -1 plus 4, -1 plus 3, -1 minus 1. That's 3 times 2 times -2. 12 equals 3 times 2 is 6 times -2 is a -12. A equals -1, which makes sense again because that's reflected. I can obviously tell it should have been a negative number. So y is -1 times x plus 4 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. Okay. Now, if I was going to make you put this into polynomial form like it asks, remember we're just leaving them into factored form, you would have to multiply all that out. So lucky day for you, I'm not making you do that. Okay. This next question, it looks like, because this probably continues down here somewhere, this is going to be an x to the 4th. Again, use the graph to find your solutions. This is -1, 2, -3. 1, 2 is a double root. Okay. 3, 4. Okay. So, again, y equals a times x, it's a -3, so plus 3, x minus 2 squared, because it's a double root, it's bouncing right there, and then an x minus 4. Again, here's x, here's y. Plug it in to find your solution for a. -24 equals a times -2 plus 3, -2 minus 2 squared, -2 minus 4. Okay, well, that's going to be 1. That is going to be a -4 squared, and that's going to be -6. 4 squared is actually going to be -4 squared is 16, so times 1 times -6 means negative 24 equals negative 96a. When you solve that, that's going to give you a equals a positive 1/4. And again, you could tell it was positive because that makes the positive cube, or to the 4th power graph. So y equals 1/4 of x plus 3, x minus 2 squared, x minus 4. And you can see that okay, right? All right, one more, last question. Again, this one's also an x to the 4th. Because it does this here, it's probably going to be a positive x to the 4th. Finding your solutions, this one's at 1, this is at negative 1, 2, 3, negative 4. And notice the shape here, it changes concavity. So this is going to be a triple root, okay? Y is going to equal a times x plus 4 to the 3rd power, okay, because it changes concavity there. And then an x minus 1. Again, plug in x, plug in y. Negative 162 equals a times negative 1 plus 4 cubed times negative 1 minus 1. Okay, well, that's 3 cubed times negative 2. That's going to be 9 times, nope, I lie. That's 27 times negative 2. Yeah, you didn't see that, right? 27 times negative 2 is a negative 54. So negative 54a equals negative 162. When I divide 162 by 54, a equals 3. Again, I could tell that that was going to be positive because the shape. That gives me my equation is 3x plus 4 cubed times x minus 1.